Welcome, here we are in beautiful Bayfield, and this is our rainfall simulator, and we're going to look at these two. So if you look here, I think you'll notice a difference from this one to that one, and you'll notice a difference with looking at the two examples. Is there green on this one? No, there isn't. Is there green on here? Yeah, there's that winter wheat or plant cover, that cover crop. So that's a difference. I'll tell you right now that the soil in both cases is the same type. This is a loam soil, which means it's got a combination of the other soil types, sand, silt, and clay. This is also loam soil with your sand and your silt and your clay, that combination. So what's different about them other than the plant cover? Well, I'll tell you something that's different. This one has been tilled, it's been turned over, it's been disturbed. This one has not. So what's going to happen? So here we have our managed stormwater bottles. They're both the same size. If you were here, I don't know if I'm a trustworthy looking person or not, but I can tell you that it's the same type of water, same source, and the same amount. But I can see that you don't trust me, so let's look, and you can see, oh, okay, it's the same. So this is going to simulate, we're going to pretend, what's another word for simulate? Pretend or imitate. We're going to pretend that this is a rainfall. This is a storm, and let's say it's a 2-inch rain. So here we go. I'm going to put water in both these examples. I'm going to just make sure this is close there. Okay, I'm going to keep the water coming. Same amount of water going more or less the same speed into both examples. And let's see if they act any differently. It's the same type of soil, so you'd think they would act pretty much the same. All right, you've had to look at me enough. Let's look at just what's happening. So we look at this. Well, let's look at what's happening at the front. Let's pretend that this was a creek or a river or a stream. Well, with this example, the tilled soil, the water has run off. There's not much water here at all. Very little ran over or off of the soil. This one, it did run, and if you can see, this one's a lot dirtier. So I'm thinking, I don't know what you think, but I'm thinking that that one has carried a lot of soil or dirt with it. Let's look underneath here what's happened. I'm going to just move this one here. And move this one here. So underneath this one, almost no water went through. This one here, the water, a little bit cleaner, a little bit of dirt there, but it went through the soil, maybe because, why do you think? Well, this has plant cover, so there's some roots and there's some holes or pathways with which the water can go through the soil, down and be filtered, and not run off and not steal away the soil, take away the soil. And also it's a healthier soil, so it can take that water in better than this tilled soil. So that's our soil demonstration, that's our rainfall simulator. We don't want sediment and chemicals in our creeks, river, or lake. So it's important that water goes into the soil instead of running off of the soil and carrying that valuable resource away. Infiltration is how fast water moves into soil after rainfall. Over time, with no-till, soil health improves for better soil structure, infiltration, organic matter, and diversity of microbes. So, the no-till soil has more of those little animals, or microorganisms, that we need. In the no-till field, the soil moves into the soil better. The tilled soil has its soil structure broken up and the soil is sealed. That means there's less water going into the soil and more water running off of the soil and carrying soil, nutrients, and sediment away with it. Did you know that in a single tablespoon of healthy soil, there are more little creatures, more microorganisms than there are people on the entire planet? So today we've been looking at soil, and soil has many different parts. There's a real wonderful world in there of things that you have rocks in there, and it's weathered down into rocks. You have fungus, and you have different bugs, and you can have worms. And those worms are really important because they burrow down and they create holes, and that hole is a pathway where the water can go through, and instead of traveling over the top of the soil, carrying the valuable topsoil and nutrients away. What's another word for nutrients? Food. It's the food the plant needs. We don't want to lose that. So you want the water to be able to travel through that hole. So I'm going to put the little worm in there. Pretend that's a little midden. So there's that, the leaves and other matter that decays and helps create organic matter and nutrients. You don't want sediment, contaminants going into your water. You want that water to go through those holes. So if you think of it today, thank an earthworm today. In that soil you could have beetles, you could have springtails, you could have termites, sow bugs, nematodes or roundworms, maggots, cicadas, all kinds of things. Millipedes, centipedes, earthworms, ants, mites, spiders, snails, and slugs. So it's really exciting. You know, you look at that, and at first glance you say, "Oh, that's just dirt." Well, no, it's not. And if you want the soil to be healthy, so you want to have that plant cover, and those plants create roots down below. And here again, those roots are super important because the roots create those holes, so water can infiltrate, it can go down, it can be filtered before it reaches the groundwater, and you don't lose that valuable topsoil, that valuable soil resource. So you've got the top of the soil, which is the topsoil, and it can have humus, which is made of decaying plants and other life that decays and creates that top layer of soil that you need to grow food. And then you go farther down. In the middle is subsoil. So you have the topsoil on top, then you have the subsoil, and finally at the bottom you have the bedrock. Did you know that some medicine, like antibiotics, find their bacteria source in soil? So soil even leads to medicine. So here in our soil demonstration today, we're learning about a couple of different kinds of soils. And here again, remember that your soil types are sand, silt, clay, or a combination of the three, loam. And you can have clay loam and sandy loam. But let's look here. I'm going to try to do something here. Okay, this one's got a little bit more water. We got some water there. I'm going to see if I can, maybe make a little ball or a little worm like Play-Doh. No. That seems to me like that might be the sandy soil. And is water going to travel through there? Yeah, I think water's going to travel through there. And do you know that there's rock in the soil, and it's weathered, it's eroded, and the little pieces of rock and sand are actually bigger than in other soils. That's interesting. So here's a different kind of clay, or a different kind of soil. Oh, I might have given it away here. Here's a different kind of soil. So now what if I did this, and what if I tried to make a little worm out of this? Oh, I probably could. Oh, there we go. That looks kind of like a worm. Oh, my hands are getting dirty. So it's kind of a worm, or if I wanted to do a little ball. I haven't done this probably since I was a kid. Oh, look at that little ball there. And that's clay. Now, the clay, it can hold water really well, but it doesn't hold air so well. Now, this sand, it's pretty good at holding the air, because the air can get in, but not so good at holding water. So those are two of the types. But if you really want a good soil for growing plants, you really want something that's a combination of your sand, your clay, and your silt. And so you want some kind of loam.